Hello, hello. My name's Michelle. I recently turned 50, recently meaning like November. I'm recording this in July of 2025. So I turned 50 in November of 2024, and I'm going to say I recently turned 50 until I turn 51. So you only got a few more months if you've been rocking and rolling with me for these last few months. So I recently was approved for disability retirement, and as a result of that, it's created like a $900 gap in between what I'm bringing in and what my actual expenses are. And so I have to find out a way to kind of close that gap. And I've always been interested in budgeting, and I've tried different methods. I've tried the cash budgeting method, but to me it's so cumbersome. And so I wanted to do sinking funds, but I wanted to do digital. So I tried it for May, and now I'm going to tell you what happened in June. Okay. Because some things worked like I thought, some things didn't. I'm going to have to kind of make some changes. So what I'm going to do is scoot over here. So that way I can put the picture like right here, and you can see kind of what I'm reading and looking at. Although I'm thinking the way the camera is, I almost should put this like right here. I wonder if I could see that right there. You know what, y'all, I'm just gonna hold it in my hand, sorry. And then as I talk, you'll see it right there. So to start off, my sinking funds, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so I have 6. So I have debt repayment. Originally in my last video, I said that I wasn't setting necessarily monetary goal for each bucket or each fund, but I've decided that I would rather set a fund that way, like a goal, because I think it'll just help me. I was looking over to see what Buddy was doing. So I have debt repayment. My goal for that one is $5,000. As I was trying to grow my real estate business, I have like killed my credit, and so at this point, like I'm in the process of being sued. I actually had like to go to court a couple weeks ago because 2 creditors sued me. Unfortunately, I'm not really sure how that's going to work, because since now I don't actually have an income, and all I get is disability retirement, like I don't think I'm going to be able to pay. I did make a tentative payment arrangement with one of them, so we'll see. So as a result, because I owe some other companies, and I don't know if they're getting ready to start suing me also, I want to start saving a sinking fund towards debt repayment. That way I can start offering up, like once I get bigger amounts, I can try to offer up settlements because I would have money saved. So that's what that fund is going to be used for. Next, I have miscellaneous, which is $500, because I find that sometimes, there's like these random things that pop up, and then like they're kind of killing your budget because you didn't really budget for it. And so you end up having to put it on a credit card or something. So that's why I need $500 of miscellaneous. Gifts, I did $300. Medical, $1,000, because I'm finding lately, especially now that I'm going to therapy regularly, for whatever reason, I think I'm gonna have to call the people who are billing me through the therapy, because I don't think my copay or my therapy session should be as much as they are. Like right now they're $150. And when I looked, it showed that $150 was for uninsured people. So I'm gonna have to call them, because what happened was there was a gap in between like when I left the classroom in January and then when my disability was actually approved in March. And so it was a minute when I didn't have insurance, but I still had my like monthly therapy session. So I don't know if they didn't realize that now I have insurance again. So I'm gonna have to check with that, but still I wanna save up $1,000 for medical. Travel, I did $3,000. My goal is hopefully I'm gonna be able to at least travel once a year. Ideally, I would love to do an international trip once a year, and eventually, like once my duplex and real estate business is really up and running, like I'd love to travel quarterly and kind of like take kind of a big trip 4 times a year. So we'll see. But right now, a travel fund is $3,000, and then I have a birthday fund, and that goal is the biggest. It's $10,000. And because I love getting older, I love birthdays, and this past birthday when I turned 50, in my mind I really wanted to wake up on a different continent, because when I turned 40 I woke up on a different continent. I happened to be teaching in Abu Dhabi at the time, so you figure I woke up on the continent of Asia. So I was really trying to wake up on the continent of South America this this 50th birthday, but I decided no, and I ended up buying a duplex. So I'm thinking when I turn 60, my next decade, I want to guarantee that I can wake up on a different continent. And so since that's almost, a little less than 10 years away, I've set the goal for 10,000. So that way I can guarantee that I have enough money to like book a trip to, if I want to go to Fiji or Vanuatu, which is over in that area, or Australia or wherever, I'll have the money to do it. So that's what that fund is. Okay. So what originally I wanted to do, because I watch, and I mentioned her in my other video, Monet's Money. What she does is she walks you through these sinking fund, like transactions and stuff. Unfortunately, I'm using Ally right now, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to switch. And I did not comment on these glasses. I got these glasses from that place. It's Zeelool. I figure I'll wear them every time I talk about money. Then it'll help me like subconsciously channel more money. So that's why I got them. I was not planning for them to be quite this bright, but I had put in the wrong prescription. And so by the time they corrected it, these were the only green ones available. So that's why they're like jumping out at you. So anyway, with Ally, unfortunately, I can't really track the movement between the different buckets and stuff. And so I can't really track the transaction. So all I can give you for today's video is just telling you my ending balance and then what I plan on doing in the upcoming month, like for the month of July. So my goal every month is to save $100, which to me is not a lot of money, but that's all I can eke out right now. And I don't know if you've ever read Atomic Habits by James Clear, but he talks about how you have to have a habit first before you can tweak it and make it better. So right now I want to get in the habit of saving, and I can comfortably afford to save $100 a month. And, as my money situation changes, hopefully that 100 will turn into like 1,000 a month, or who knows, maybe one day 10,000 a month. And so I just want to build the habit of saving. And so I really exceeded my goal. Oh my goodness, y'all, I'm so freaking excited. So my goal was to save $100 total. So for debt repayment, it started at $5 and then it ended at $40. I'm going to give a disclaimer about these numbers. Ally, unfortunately, this is why I really don't like using them, and I'm gonna definitely have to find a different one. I used to use Capital One, but then I had an issue with Capital One when I tried to pull like a large sum of money out. They flagged my account and then my money got held up for like a couple days. So that's why I don't like Capital One. But what I like about Capital One savings account is they are literally each their own savings account. So like each one has its own number, its own routing, its own account number. It's perfect. Well, Ally, that's not really what it is. It's one savings account, and then you have these buckets. So the problem is, which I found out in June, is that when you start trying to move the money around, because they're just buckets, Ally, it's not pulling from the bucket you wanted to pull from. It's just randomly pulling. So then it's messing up the numbers because the total number is fine, but then like the number for that particular bucket, in their case, is what it's called on there, it's messed up. So when I read these ending balances, that's what happened this month. Like I was moving money around, but it was pulling out of random buckets. So these numbers aren't necessarily accurate as far as like that's how much money got deposited in, or even connected to like what I spent for the month. But at least you can see kind of how much I was able to save over the course of 30 days in these different buckets. So with repayment, it started with $5. Now it has 40. With miscellaneous, it started with $5. Now it has $98.61. So I'm getting closer to my goal of 500. Gifts started with $300, and it says right now it has $296.62. So see, that's what I mean. How like when I transferred some money out of a different account, it pulled it from this one, I guess, because this bucket has the most money in it. So yeah, it's just weird. Medical has 15. My goal with medical is 1,000. It started with 500. Gifts was actually the only one that actually started fully funded because I kind of like condensed some savings accounts. Travel started with 5. Now it has 135 and 25 cents. And then birthday started with 5. Now it has 0. Because again, when I was moving money, Ally was just pulling it out of random buckets. So if you know of an online bank that allows you to have multiple separate savings accounts, let me know. I'm hoping I don't have to go back to Capital One, but if I have to, I don't have a choice. I'm thinking American Express, but the only reason why I don't want to do American Express is because I don't like to mix my personal with business. And right now I'm using American Express to hold the security deposits on my rental income because you can have multiple savings accounts. So I have like a savings account for each tenant's security deposit. And then when they move out, like I send them back their security deposit plus any interest. And, of course I deduct if there's any damages, and I always deduct a $50 cleaning fee. But anyway, right now, the only other one I know of is American Express. But if you know of a savings account, like of an online bank where like you can have separate savings accounts and multiple, please let me know so that I can switch it over. So I started the month with $325 in savings, and then I ended the month, drum roll, I ended the month with $585.48, y'all. So that means this month I saved $260.48 when I was only trying to save $100. So I am so excited. So I see what happens. And what I'm trying to do is I'm changing my mindset, and I'm teaching my son that instead of, when you grow up in a capitalist country, what you do is you say, oh, I'm going to save this amount and I'm going to spend the rest. But what I've started doing this month, and I see it's really working, or I should say last month because it's now July, is that instead I'm just say, oh, I'm going to spend this amount and then everything else I'm going to save. And so by default, your savings grows instead of just you have a set savings and then you have no idea how much you're spending. I like to have the other problem, which is you know exactly how much you're spending and you have no clue to how much you're saving until you look at the end of the month and be like, what? So so I hope you enjoyed watching this. Hopefully you will follow along, on this journey. I'm recording this on the 4th of July. So if you're in the United States, happy 4th. Hopefully I'll get to watch some fireworks. I live pretty close to where they do fireworks. So I'm gonna see if I can go outside. And luckily Buddy's not scared of the fireworks, so it's great. So again, if you know of an online bank that lets you have multiple separate savings accounts, please let me know. And I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I hope you found some helpful tips. Again, I hope use me as an example that you can save little bits and it really starts to change your habits. So even if you can't save $100, if you could save 25 and just break that up in like a matter of 5s and 2s. Now, the only difference with some of these online savings is that you have to save in increments of like 5 or 10 or 25. But if you're, you might be able to pull it off in a different way. So I guess you'll have to see, or I guess you could do like the actual envelopes, but digitally, I think you have to be technically, no, because when you're transferring money in, you can save in any increments. I think the savings part is the increments is when you're trying to pull the money out. I think you have to have at least a certain amount. So I don't think you can pull out like $1.50. I think you have to like pull out in increments of like 5 or 10 or 25 or something. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm super proud of myself. Again, my goal for July is to save $100. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach that goal. Hopefully I'll reach at the very least that. Who knows? I might be able to save more. I might be able to top this month because for June I was able to save $260.48. So who knows? Maybe I'll be able to save that amount again or more, or at the very least save $100. All right. So it was good having y'all tune in. Again, don't forget, leave me a comment if you know of another online bank that allows you to have multiple savings. Thank you so much. And as always, be grateful. Bye-bye.